I am so excited. I'm so excited to record this video with you today. Just in general, I'm always excited when you are in the videos. My boyfriend Nick is gonna go to my Goodreads account and select 3 books that I'm gonna start 2023 with. And I'm so excited about it because I keep adding new books to the lists, and oftentimes I forget what I added before, so I probably don't even remember the 2/3 of the books that I added like over the years. Now is a great chance to go back and to remember those books and to actually give them a try. So that's what we're gonna do. Anika's gonna go to the Goodreads account, and all the books that I want to read, they are divided into genres. Certain favors that I want to ask. I don't want to read historical fantasy. I don't really want to read sci-fi, and we are probably not going to include any personal development books as well. Other than that, can you tell us what genres do I have, and how many books I have in all those categories?
Drama 5, Fantasy 68, Mystery, which you spelled wrong, I love it, 12, Romance 43, Spice 22.
Spice is a romance.
She loves the cooking, oh that's, okay. And then Thriller 62. That is a lot of books, love.
I do want to skip Christmas because it's over. Detective, I only have 2 books. I'm not really in the mood for the detective. Halloween is still to come, 4 books there. We'll probably skip that. Historical fantasy, 3 books. Don't want to read that. And sci-fi, 2 books. But the majority of the books are within thriller and fantasy category, and also romance. 68, 43, and 62. So we still have a lot of books to select from without those genres. So what we're gonna do is Nick's gonna screen record his selection for me for the 2023. You're gonna see what's there to come for me to read. I'm so excited. So tell us what you do.
Starting with thrillers. Well, I have not read any of the descriptions of books, so you know how they say don't judge a book by its cover? That's exactly what I'm doing today. So we're gonna start with, ooh, this looks kind of cool. That's a solid maybe. All right, screw it. Book number 1. You ready?
Yes.
It's called A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing because this book is one of the top ones on my primary list. It is already requested in the library, and I am so excited to read it. First of all, the cover of this book is amazing. The description seems to be very fun.
Want to read it?
Yeah.
When Chloe Davis was 12, 6 teenage girls went missing in her small Louisiana town. By the end of the summer, Chloe's father had been arrested as a serial killer and promptly put in prison. Chloe and the rest of her family were left to grapple with the truth and try to move forward while dealing with the aftermath. Now, 20 years later, Chloe is a psychologist in private practice in Baton Rouge and getting ready for her wedding. She finally has a fragile grasp on the happiness she's worked so hard to get. Sometimes, though, she feels as out of control in her own life as the troubled teens who are her patients. And then a local teenage girl goes missing, and then another. And that terrifying summer comes crashing back. Is she paranoid and seeing parallels that aren't really there? Or for the second time in her life, is she about to unmask a killer?
Why did you decide to go with this book?
Well...
And by the way, obviously the books that he's gonna choose, he doesn't know synopsis, so he just pretty much just goes off the...
Judging a book by its cover, because that's a cool looking cover. That's a pretty cool cover, right?
Yeah.
It's simple, but it's kind of cool, and I like the design of it.
Okay.
So let's move that from want to read to currently reading.
Perfect. So we have the first book out of the way. I'm so excited. Like, I like a good thriller mystery sort of thing. I do like that there was a jump in the year from her being a child to her going to the wedding, or the wedding. That's my theme. I do like that it's investigating what happened in her past, because pretty much her father was convicted, but he's highly likely is not the person who committed the crimes. And I do like the setting of a small town and the mystery. It reminds me of such TV shows as Dark that are kind of spooky, and then there is this drama going on and also the thriller and mystery elements. So I feel like the first choice is a pretty great choice, since
Okay.
I already am excited to read this book and I'm already waiting for it.
Well, that worked out well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move into fantasy now.
Oh my god, fantasy is one of my favorite genres. I am so excited to know what's there to come, because with this genre, for me, it can be really hit or miss because I tend to add a lot of books there that I think I'm gonna read, but there are so many books there that I forget that I even have. There are a lot of fantasy there that were recommended to me by other people that people said that they're good, but I'm not quite sure if it's something that I'm gonna like. So I guess we're gonna see what he picks for me.
They all love books.
I do prefer fantasy with romance. I don't tend to read just action fantasy. There was like one book I really wanted to pick.
The odds of that are very low, you realize that, right?
Well, it's closer to the top. Do you choose the book cover that you like and then you go to the synopsis
Kinda.
and read a little bit?
Kinda.
Okay. Okay, that's very important choice to make because fantasy is my favorite genre.
I'm still basing my clicks on the cover if I think it looks cool or not.
Yeah.
Okay. This looks kind of cool. Number 2 is called Daughter of Darkness, and it's House of Shadows #1 by Catherine Core and Elizabeth Core.
Okay, I do not remember this book at all. I do not remember this title and I do not remember this author.
Great, well, I'll tell you a little bit about the book.
Okay, perfect.
I'm not going to pronounce any of these names right, so bear with me. Deanna is trapped. As one of the soul severers serving the god Hades on Earth, her future is tied to the task of shepherding the dying on from the mortal world, unless she can earn or steal enough to buy her way out. Then the tyrant ruler Orpheus offers both fortune and freedom to whoever can retrieve his dead wife from the underworld. Deanna jumps at the chance, but to win she must enter an uneasy alliance with a group of fellow severers she neither likes nor trusts. So begins their perilous journey into the realm of Hades. The prize of freedom is before her, but what will it take to reach it?
Okay, it does not ring a bell for me at all. And I'm surprised that I added this book to my list. But I mean, this is probably the book that was maybe recommended by someone, but I'm still excited to read. You read a little bit of synopsis of this book. Why did you decide to choose it?
Because it sounded different than most of the books that I think you read.
Exactly.
I think, and I feel like, you know what, sometimes you just gotta try something a little bit different
Yeah.
and see if you'll enjoy it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I don't remember this book at all, that because even though it's fantasy, it's so different from what I usually read. It's based on mythology, right?
Yep.
And I probably only read like 1 or 2 books that are based on mythology. Do you have a preference in which order I should read these books? I guess the first book will be the first to choose,
let's
the
just do
second.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so it's gonna be the second book of the year that I'm gonna be reading, and I am excited. I am a little skeptical, but I am still excited to open myself to some new subgenres of fantasy. So what do you do now? Tell us. Which genre are you in?
I'm back in fantasy,
Okay.
and I am just having a look.
And that's amazing because for me, winter just speaks fantasy and thriller, but I'd say the ratio for those would be 7-3 because I do love fantasy and I feel like winter is the most magical time to read fantasy for me. I don't know why, maybe because I was always gifted the books for New Year's and Christmas and it was always fantasy. Maybe that's why there is this correlation. I don't know, but I always read a lot of fantasy in winter.
So there's one I like, but I think it might be a little bit too similar to one of the other books, but I don't know very well.
Okay.
I don't know if I should mention it because I don't want you to like, or no.
Okay, you can mention it after. Like, you can make your final decision, announce the book, and then you can tell us what book were you thinking.
Okay.
And maybe we will add a 4th book. Also, most of the fantasy books that I have on my list are fantasy romance. I do like a good enemies to lovers subplot to any fantasy. I feel like that's my favorite. So okay, let's see. You selected?
I think so. It just sounds kind of funny.
Okay.
Okay, book number 3 is called How to Be Eaten, and it's by Maria Edelman.
Okay, I don't cannot remember this book either.
Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about it.
Okay.
This darkly funny and provocative novel reimagines classic fairy tale characters as modern women in a support group for trauma. In present-day New York City, 5 women meet in a basement support group to process their traumas. Bernice grapples with the fallout of dating a psychopath, blue-bearded billionaire. Ruby, once devoured by a wolf, now wears him as a coat. Gretel questions her memory of being held captive in a house made of candy. Ashley, the winner of a bacheloresque dating show, wonders if she really got her promised fairy tale ending. And Raina, her love story will shock them all. Though the women start out wary of one another, judging each other's stories, gradually they begin to realize that they may have more in common than they suppose. What really brought them here? What secrets will they reveal? And is it too late for them to rescue each other?
I didn't remember the name, but I do remember the synopsis very well. And I am very, very excited. I do think that this is an amazing idea for a retelling. It's maybe not even retelling. It doesn't seem like it's a retelling of the fairy tales. It's like a post story, what happened to these women in the fairy tales and how they overcome the psychological traumas that they went through. Also, since it's winter and it's all magical, it's fun to read something that's kind of fairy tale related.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's an amazing choice for the book.
It just kind of reminded me of, remember that game we played, The Wolf Among Us?
Yeah.
Not The Wolf Among Us. Wolf Among Us.
Wolf Among Us.
The Wolf Among Us, which is sort of, if it's a Telltale game, which is sort of about these fairy tale characters in almost a real life setting, and it seems similar to this in ways, and I remember really enjoying that, and I think you enjoyed it too. So, yeah, those are the 3 that I chose. Did you want the 4th one that I was writing?
I want to know which book didn't make it to the first 3.
I think this could be an honorable mention.
Okay.
It's called A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden.
Oh my goodness, like this book I added like a couple days ago. It's a new book, it's just been released. I think it's been released in December.
It just sounded fun, but it sounded too similar to book number 2, I think.
It's been released on December 15th.
Oh, that's a couple days ago.
But this video comes out later.
It came out a long time ago.
This book has been released very recently on December 15th. I just added it. I'm so excited to read it. However, it's still not available in the library. Tell us about this book and why you thought that it's going to be something that you would want to choose.
Oh, it just sounded like a fun story. So, captured by a king of darkness, forced to find the light within, Arwen Valendale never expected to be the brave one, offering her life to save her brothers. Now she's been taken prisoner by the most dangerous kingdom on the continent and made to use her rare magical abilities to heal the soldiers of the vicious Onyx King. Arwen knows better than to face the ancient wicked woods that surround the castle on her own, which means working with a fellow prisoner might be her only path to freedom. Unfortunately, he is as infuriating as he is cunning, and seems to take twisted pleasure in playing on Arwen's deepest fears. But here in Onyx Kingdom, trust is a luxury she can't afford. To make it out of enemy territory, she'll have to navigate backstabbing royals, dark magic, and dangerous beasts. But untold power lies inside Arwen, dormant and waiting for a spark. If she can handle it, she just might be able to escape with her life, and hopefully, her heart.
Like, this book just speaks my name. I do love a good, like, dark fantasy romance type of book, and that's exactly what it is. I feel like it's a dark romance in a fantasy world. And then there is this evil king, and then there is this girl, and obviously he probably pretends to be evil, but he will turn out to be the sweetest prince that she's gonna fall in love with, and is gonna fall in love with her. Because my all-time favorite series is ACOTAR, and I do love the relationship between Feyre and Reeve, and I feel like that's my favorite fantasy couple, and this reminds me a lot about the beginning of their relationship. So I am very excited. It will definitely be the 4th book that I am gonna read in 2023. So thank you so much for these wonderful picks. I'd say that for me it was 3 out of 4 because I definitely am excited for Flicker in the Dark. I remember adding this book, I remember being excited about it, and obviously this last book and How to Be Eaten sounds so fun that I cannot wait to read it. But the second book
That's the one I'm looking forward to most.
Yeah, because he's gonna hear all about it, because I'm gonna read and tell all about the plot of this book to him, and it's definitely a little bit out of my comfort zone.
Good.
Yeah.
Try something new.
Exactly.
I mean, it's on your list, love, so...
It is. It is the first book in the series, though. And I do love that, because if you tend to love the first book, then there is a whole much other books that you can read as a continuation of the series. And to be honest with you, I do prefer to read series versus standalones, just because of how much variety they offer you after you read the first book, and like you can get back to the world. I do appreciate when the author expands the world and adds new characters, and then we get to see different events from different characters' perspectives. I do love the depth of the world building, so again, it's gonna be an interesting one, out of the comfort zone, but I am as equally excited for it as for anything else. Thanks so much. I love you, did so well.